Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 9 at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Oaks Friday is also for 3-year-old fillies. This race at 7/8 of a mile, however, the grade 2 $500,000 8 bells. Let's take a look at this field. This is such a deep crop of 3-year-old fillies, Mike. I think this is one of the better Oaks we've seen in recent memories. And these horses, most of them are best at sprint distances, but you've got a filly like Gerrymander coming back. These are some horses that can really make noise later in the year.
Yeah, this is a really good field. I mean, you're right. The Oaks came up super strong this year, and this is a really nice supporting race to that longer distance race for this division, Dan. There are a lot of talented fillies in here.
Now, we're expecting a good pace on in this race. According to our Timeform US pace projector, Pretty Birdie has shown some speed in the past. She just went gate to wire at Oaklawn Park. She's expected to make the lead, but she's going to have to go 7, and she might have to go quick in order to get to the front. Matarea, the number 8, I would expect to be close to the pace. She was very good last time out at Keeneland.
She was. We'll see how fast this pace gets, Dan. There are horses with plenty of gas in here. I do believe Pretty Birdie is faster than all of them, assuming she breaks the gate here, and I expect her to be on the lead. Then we'll see, how fast she has to go and whether she can get to 7.
The number 1, Sweet as Pie, as you see from the pace projector, she is really hoping that red bar fast pace scenario is correct because she's going to be coming from far out of it, much as she did in her most recent race, an allowance at Keeneland. They turned her back in distance, and I think this is what she wants to do, Mike. She's 2 for 2 sprinting. She's got a lot of work turning into the stretch, but the pace was there for her. 22-3 for the opening quarter, and she kicks them down late.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of things went her way here. She was pretty wide there at the top of the stretch, but she was also in the clear, getting a clean run at some tired horses here. And she's going to eventually wear these horses down. Never changes leads, gets the job done late. Didn't really take the kind of step forward that she probably needed to take to be considered a real contender in here, Dan. I mean, she has run pretty well in both of her sprint starts, but she's got to do better than that against this field.
The number 2, Pretty Birdie, started off very hot for trainer Norm Cassie last year, winning her first 2 starts, including kind of a subpar edition of the Grade 3 Schuylerville, then in a wet track appearance. And maybe that's important because we're expecting a little bit of rain at Churchill this weekend. The Grade 1 Spinaway, she stopped to a walk. Something tells me, though, it wasn't just the wet track, that something else might have happened to her physically. She came back, she got a prep race, and then she ran this race, the Purple Martin last time out, where she was able to get to the lead. I don't think the pace was very fast. I love the way she finished it off. I mean, she is just being very confidently handled. She earned a good buyer speed figure for this race, and maybe she gets away and the pace isn't that fast. I am worried about the 7.
Yeah, I am too, especially if she takes pressure up front. So we'll see how fast they make her go early in this race. In this spot, Dan, it was just a really good race for her because she was basically controlling things up on the front end, and she had plenty left there in the stretch. It was an impressive performance, and a real step forward for this filly. Her race off the layoff, she went a wicked fast pace in the Dixie Belle and got really tired. I don't know what to do with her. I feel like she's very dangerous on the early lead in here. I'd be a little wary of taking too short a price on her.
Marissa's Lady, the number 3, is a horse. You could just take one look at her past performances, and you might be fooled into thinking she's merely a Turfway terror. She has won 4 races, 3 of her last 4 races at Turfway on the synthetic. But look what she did to start her career. 2 wins on dirt, including a stakes score going 6.5 at Churchill. She's pretty good, and I think she drifts off that 7-2.
Yeah, I think she could too. Overall, her form's rock solid, man. 5 for 5 sprinting in her career. The one time she lost when they tried to stretch her out around a 2-turn mile and she just couldn't get it. Otherwise, her form's very good. She's got speed, so I think she can be up close in this race. And listen, the last time she ran on dirt, I realized it was early on in all of their careers, but she beat a couple of fillies who are back in this spot, and she beat them pretty handily.
She did have a pretty easy trip last time out as the big favorite. It wasn't a fast pace, but it was contested enough. And I think she has shown the ability to sit off horses and pass. So she might have Pretty Birdie as a target, and she might be in a great position when they turn into the stretch. We always like turnbacks at 7 furlongs, especially classy ones. And the 4 Ain't Easy fits both of those descriptions. She won her career debut so impressively sprinting, going 5.5 furlongs. She was just a 2-year-old filly. She looked like an old soul sitting in the pocket pocket in behind horses, split them in the stretch, and then dominated them late. She did very good work before, unfortunately, going to the sidelines. Take the Santa Anita Oaks with several grains of salt. I was very surprised they rode her that aggressively, and I just think that trip didn't work out. She's better from off the pace, and that's the trip she's getting on Friday.
I agree with all that, Dan. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do in the Santa Anita Oaks. It was second off the layoff for her, and I think they really felt like they had a real chance to win that race. And she just wound up dueling with a 3-5 favorite in there, and it got really, really tired at the end of the race. I thought her return from the layoff was pretty good too, Dan. I think she probably needed that start, and she just, again, got really tired in the stretch of that race, almost like she definitely needed the race back off of that very long lap. I love her cutting back in distance for this race. She will be off the pace this time, but she's got really easy speed. I don't think she's going to be too far away.
12-1 is a super price on a graded stakes winner that really should appreciate the turnback and the pace scenario. Wicked Halo's up next. She was a very fast 2-year-old. For Steve Asmussen, gate-to-wire winner of the Adirondack. Unfortunately, something must have went awry because she missed the rest of the year. Now she's come back, and we saw her finish third in the Purple Martin. But where's her speed gone?
Yeah, I don't know. She hasn't run well in either of her two starts since she came back from the layoff. So we'll see if she can turn things around here. I got to be honest, Dan. I know she was a graded stakes winner as a 2-year-old. I didn't like her performance. I didn't think that Adirondack was a strong field, and I didn't think she ran that great winning that race. Her starts before that, I didn't really see her excuse in the debutante either. I don't know. I just don't think she's that good. I certainly respect Asmussen giving her another shot here, but I could never bet this horse.
The number 6, Gerrymander, is going to be facing some sharp horses in her first start in about 6 months. But she's the kind of filly that you might want to keep an eye on for the second half of this year. Let's watch her final start as a 2-year-old. The Tempted Stakes, going a 1-turn mile at Belmont. She showed good speed that day to make the lead. And the horse that finishes third in this race, you're familiar with her. That's Nest, who's going to be one of the strong contenders in the Kentucky Oaks later on Friday. Game performance for Gerrymander. We'll see what we get off the layoff.
Yeah, I mean, she certainly, ran pretty well in all of her starts last year as a 2-year-old, Dan. I kind of feel like she just took advantage in this race that we're watching right here, the Tempted. The pace just wasn't fast. She had no trouble making her way to the early lead in there with nobody else going. Nest was, to me, badly compromised in there, not only with her trip, but she was also cutting back in distance for that race. I don't know. I'm not going to take anything away from Gerrymander. If she's a good price and you like her, you should just bet her in here. But I'm going to give her this race off the layoff.
The 7 is Lac Vieux Desert, a debut winner at Oaklawn Park for Robertino Diodoro and David Cohen. This horse was bet that day like she was going to fire, and fire she did. Let's watch the performance. A 74 buyer effort, going 3/4 at Oaklawn. I like that she was able to sit off the leaders when she was produced for run. She ran. She was up close to a relatively fast pace, Mike, and I think she could sit in the second flight here.
Yeah, me too. It's a pretty big step up in class for her. But, she did, I think, everything that I'm sure Diodoro wanted to see her do in this race. Dan sat up close, got a good trip, but always off the rail too. Won very easily at the end. This is a pretty big ask, I think, against this field. But maybe she turns out to be really good.
I'll admit I was wrong about Matarea last time out. I was willing to fade her as the favorite in the grade 3 Beaumont, and boy, did she make me look bad. It doesn't take much, but she made me look really bad. Let's watch the Beaumont. She destroyed this field to the tune of a 94 buyer speed figure. She got up right up close to the pace, and she poured it on in the stretch. She names her margin, Mike, and if she runs this race again, considering her running style, considering this good outside attack post, she's going to be real tough again.
Yeah, she is. I'm with you, Dan. I think we did the preview for this race. I was right with you on trying to fade this race. I didn't like her at all last time, and she embarrassed this field, winning just in hand with another new buyer top. She's got great tactical speed. I mean, I'm a little bit more reluctant to fade her this time, but I'm going to try to beat her again.
Now, we talked about the turnbacks at 7 furlongs and how important they are. Ain't Easy is probably the most fancied one. Keep an eye on the 9. Awake at Midnight. They tried to stretch her out, put her on the Kentucky Oaks Trail. She ran fine in the Rachel Alexandra. The Ashland, she was no match for Nest over a wet track. I like the last sprint race from her, Mike. The Santa Ynez 3 starts back. She ended up very wide on the far turn into the stretch, and she ran second to a hot horse.
I agree with all that stuff, especially after the Rachel Alexandra did. I thought she ran actually really well in that Rachel Alexandra when they finally stretched her out to take a shot at the Kentucky Oaks Trail. I thought she ran well that day, but I just got the feeling that the added distance didn't help her at all. Obviously, she got tired behind Nest last time in the Ashland, and now they're finally going to cut her back. I think it's really, really going to help this horse, and I'm going to use her.
And another horse that's not out of the question at a price is the number 10, Sweet Danny Girl. I liked her win in the Myrtlewood at Keeneland as a 2-year-old. It was a race where she got bumped at the start, but she moved very comfortably on the turn, and she got up to win. I was disappointed that she got beat by Marissa's Lady in the Fern Creek at Churchill Downs. Last time out at Gulfstream, she was just in against Kathleen O, one of the major contenders in the Kentucky Oaks. It was probably a little bit too much to ask off the layoff, but I thought she ran pretty well, and I think it was a good tightener because she worked the first half mile or so.
Yeah, she did. Cutting back in distance for this is feels like a positive for her. We'll see, Dan. I thought she was another one in this race who I thought she really had to improve to beat this field. And I guess we'll just see if she can do it. I'm not going to knock her. If you like her, I didn't think 6-1 was a very good price on her for the morning line, but maybe she'll drift.
Please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. You will have access to all of our videos. It's Triple Crown season. It's one of the most exciting times of the year to be a racing fan. Top pick time for one of our major races, the 8 Bells. Ain't easy. If you get 12-1, Mike, I got to jump aboard with you because she's classy. I love the turn back to 7. All the reasons we mentioned. She just fits very well with this field.
Yeah, I like her cutting back for this. I think she obviously that most recent start in the San Diego Oaks. I think you just want to give her a real pass for that race. It just didn't work out for her the way that they rode her. She's going to get a better trip in this race. I really like her cutting back, Dan.
I'm terrified of Matarea. When in doubt, go with the speed. I think Norm Cassie's done a nice job with Pretty Birdie. I think she's going to get to the front. It's all about whether she can drop the anchor just a little bit as she tries a demanding 7 furlongs. 4983 for Mike, 2836 for me. It's the grade 2 8 Bells on Kentucky Oaks Friday. Best of luck.